Hello, ladies and gentlemen. As you heard, my name is Segun Oduolowu, and it is a pleasure and a privilege to bring out some of the members from this incredible piece of art that you just saw. So, without further ado, let's bring out Andre Holland. Y'all know him as Clay, but let's bring out Andre Holland. Sitting next to Andre is his friend in the film, Aldis Hodge. And the founder of the feast. Without him, there would be no film, producer, director, Andre Gaines. All right, gentlemen, we are here for a good time, not a long time. So we're gonna dive right into it. Do you feel, Andre, with this film, you have finally told the story that brothers need to stay away from white girls? Can I get an amen?
Oh my God. What in the hell? I guess so, yeah. But I made it for all of you. Hopefully you enjoyed the film. Did you enjoy the movie? It's a cautionary tale that's been around since the dawn of time. I mean, I didn't invent it. These brothers didn't invent it, but Amiri Baraka, wrote this incredible play that embodied it in the best way possible. And I have him to thank, for these incredible words that I was able to put on screen finally. So yes, that's my intellectual answer to your, your very practical question.
Well, thank you. Andre, when you find out that you are going to be playing the role of Clay, and as Andre, so we've got Andre and Andre, right? So when you find out that you are going to be playing this role of Clay and just how heavy a role it is, what's going through your mind and what did you bring to the character?
Man, it's so good to see y'all. Thank y'all for being here. Well, it's one of those plays, man, like in drama school when you first starting out, where, it's one of the first plays you get given, because it's as you see the train scenes, it's one where like you get to be angry and shout and throw stuff and cuss and do all of that. So it feels good for a young actor to get to exercise those things. But I think for me, when I first got it, I felt the responsibility of it, the weight of it. There's a long history of actors who played this part, a long history of directors who've directed it. Stephen McKinley Henderson, who's in the play.
Let's give it up for Stephen. He's fantastic.
As y'all see here, and as you've seen in other things, man, he's a genius actor. He played the role of Clay a number of times back in the day. He's directed the play, I think he said like 7 or 8 times.
Yeah, a couple times.
And he's just one of many, who've wrestled with the play. So for me, I felt like the responsibility and the weight of stepping into it and wanting to honor the lineage of actors who've passed through it. So I started calling folks, man. I spoke to Henderson about it. I was digging in the play and reading all the analyses and the critiques, and as much as I could to kind of fill myself up with the world of the play, the choices that other actors have made about it, and then trying to find my way through it, and to create a Clay, hopefully that speaks to this moment. So.
It's wonderful. We can cheer for that. Y'all can that was a deep answer. We can cheer for that. You speak of responsibility, but Aldis, was there any fear? Because Andre expanded the play. And so now, instead of just a 2-character vehicle, now you enter a character that is solely created. Was there any fear that your introduction would take away from what people have known and grown to love with The Dutchman?
Not at all, man. Hello, everybody. How y'all doing? What's happening, people?
Yo, these deep voice actors is really trying to steal, okay.
Well, let me tell you about it. what I had thought about that. No, I didn't feel any fear because I felt like it was a great opportunity. I felt excitement, right? I think the difference between fear and excitement is having a conscious understanding and sort of a confidence in what you're going into, a perspective or perception of who it is you're working with. And I was very confident in the team. You know, with Holland, I mean, so me and Holland, we've been knowing each other for a little bit, trying to get on something. You know, we talked in the past about trying to find something to work on, but really, the moment I knew that he was on it, I was like, no, I'm good, I'm in, let's go. Because I already know who I'm working with. And then I was introduced to Andre Gaines, other Andre. I was introduced to your work through this and discovering what was going on. And when I saw the entire cast and how formidable and accomplished everybody was, I looked at it as an opportunity to grow, to learn, to be a part of something really special. When I read the script, I felt like, you know, there was an absolute understanding and command of the original context and the foundation of the play. And so I come from a world of like conceptual design, right? And for us, it's like rule is form follows function, but you gotta understand the rules to break the rules and introduce something new. When I read the script, I knew that he absolutely, unequivocally understood the rules. So wherever he was gonna go with it was always going to honor the root. And as long as we honor the root, then I felt safe and I felt like we were gonna do our best work. So I felt excited.
Yeah, so one thing I wanted to say is that Warren, the character that Alice plays, Warren Enright, is in the play, but you only hear him spoken of in the play for people who are familiar with the play. And so it was always this idea of, okay, well, what type of guy is his friend, you know, and also what type of guy is Clay, because we don't really know a lot about these characters on stage. And so that was where the opportunity in film and cinema to be able to actually expand that world and take us into another place. And, you know, I just wanted to see these two guys on stage together, on screen together. It was so much fun.
Many in the audience were happy to see these gentlemen.
Yeah, that was some of our funnest scenes to actually shoot, to just have these guys kind of spar with each other. I wanted to have sort of that brother-to-brother relationship that we don't get to see all the time. And really what that means to have somebody say you got to step up to your responsibility and what the result might actually be.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. I want to heap heavy praise on the director. And I'm going to do so with one of my favorite quotes. And it says, talent hits a target no one else can hit. Genius hits a target no one else can see. You talk about the character of Warren, never been seen, but you saw Aldis. You talk about, you know, putting this together, and you come up with Andre for Clay. How did you see these two brothers, see this adaptation, and even get it to be made? Talk about that genius.
Well,
you can cheer for the quote, because that was dope, right?
The quote was pretty dope.
That was fire.
I ain't gonna lie,
That was a bar. That was a bar that was dropped.
Yes, please applaud for this man.
I am fueled by compliments.
By the way, we know each other. Our kids go to school together. So I was expecting this when I came out. Not the first question, but, you know, a couple of antics at least. But I'll take the, you know, the genius quote. Sure, great.
Of course, take it.
So it was a journey, you know. I mean, a lot of people don't know how movies get made in general, but the play, you have to acquire the rights to do something like that. You got to adapt it into something else. And I pursued the rights for this for about 6-7 years. I didn't even realize how long I was just kept at it. You know, that's sort of part of the producing thing, is just constantly bothering people until they give you what you want. And I finally got it. And the family, Amiri Baraka's widow, Amina Baraka, you know, his son, Amiri Jr., who was on set for a couple of days that the guys got to meet him, and his other son, Raz Baraka, who's mayor of Newark, running for governor. Wonderful, wonderful family. They said that, you know, they weren't not doing this project or any of Amiri's other work for any other reason than the fact that there's a lot of pain in it. There's a lot of historical pain that's sort of built into this work back in the 60s. And once I told them what it is that I wanted to do with it, Aldis sort of talks about conceptual things. I put together like a little trailer and a deck and sort of showed them what it is I wanted to do with it. The funny story is, this was back in 2021, and I got a call from Amina Baraka right when I landed on the Vineyard. And cell service sucks here. And so I'm on the tarmac, trying to have an intellectual conversation.
Now, did you fly Cape Air or did you come private?
Oh, Cape Fear, you mean? Yeah. No, that year was Cape Fear. I came in on the little prop plane, and so I was messed up already. And so then I said, and I was with my kids, and they wouldn't be quiet, and I said, I got to go over here and like have this conversation while there's jets and noise and everything like that. And so I'm doing my best to kind of hear her. I was here screening my other film, The One and Only Dick Gregory, about the comedian. And everybody knows who Dick Gregory is in this room. And
he threw that out casually. Dick Gregory, the luminary. I did a movie on him.
So I actually had that call at the airport, and she had seen the trailer and deck that I put together, and it was a very short call, and she said, "Go for it. You have my blessing to do it." And so I started writing it. I have my co-writer actually in the audience. Qasim Basir is here. Maybe if you stand up. Yeah, there you go.
Stand up and be recognized. Yeah. Stand up and be recognized.
Yeah. So that's my guy, and and we tried to cheat and like just make the play into a movie, and you put it into a software, and it was like an hour long. And I was like, okay, we can't make a movie like this. So then that's when the development really started to write it. And then Andre Holland and I went to NYU together. We've known each other since the Stone Age. And he was my first call.
He's like,
I'm not that old. Jeez, give me a break. So he was my first and only call, and he was in, and then it just started kind of trickling from there. And then Kate Mara, who was fantastic in the movie, I think, and you can clap for Kate later. She actually called me and wanted to be in the film. Went on record as saying it's the most challenging role that she's ever done. And I thought that she was really phenomenal in playing a crazy white woman, which is what the text calls for, is for a crazy white woman. I said, did you read this script? We had breakfast. I said, are you sure you want to make this movie? And she said, no, I'm ready. I'm all in. So we had a lot of fun. I mean, it was hard. It was hard as hell. We shot on a real subway train. So it was difficult, but it was a lot of fun at the same time.
That's wonderful, 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 wonderful. And I say wonderful because it's a theme with the three of y'all's work that is playing like a refrain in my head. You all play strong black men wonderfully in the roles that you've chosen in your careers.
Thank you.
Is that a conscious choice? Is that who you are off camera? Or is that a responsibility you feel for us to be seen that way? And I start with you, Andre.
Oh, man, it's definitely been a conscious choice. And sometimes I've fallen short, but I've always tried. I've always tried to live up to it. I've never wanted to do anything that in any way denigrates my family or my culture. That's really important to me. And what that has meant is that I've gotten to do some really amazing things, some things I'm super proud of. And it also is meant that there's been some times when, I've been hungry too. The phone don't always ring like I wanted to. But when I look back on the things that I've done, I think I'm very, very proud of the fact that I've been able to, make my mama proud and my daddy proud.
I fall in alignment with that because I've been in this business since I was 3 years old, my whole life. And this business has always told me, through my experience, how powerful I am and how powerful we are as a culture because of the fear they lay against us and me when it comes to trying to be seen. You know, when I stand in my own, they want me to stand in their dilapidated perspective of who they want us to be, and I can't do that. So, to Andre's point, yeah, there's sometimes where you're gonna go a little hungry, but it's worth it because, you know, you can starve your stomach for, you know, a couple hours, a couple days, but it's worth it if you're not gonna starve your soul for the rest of your life.
Andre, you feel that same responsibility in your filmmaking?
Yeah, it really is. You know, I think that I was always inspired, well, of course, by Spike Lee, who's going to be here soon. I remember him saying that, you know, it's not about the one movie that you make, it's about a body of work. And respecting and looking at your body of work. And if you can look at your body of work, you can look back on the movies that you've made or the shows or things that you've made, and you can be proud of that. That's what really gets me up, you know, is to keep adding to it, is to just keep putting another notch, you know, in that belt. And and I think that, you know, for me and my friend and co-writer Q, we always talk about how there's just a genuine crisis of like black male masculinity in this country, like all the time. Somehow it just became toxic. Like all masculinity is toxic. But at the end of the day, we're husbands and fathers and friends and brothers, you know, and just normal people, just doing normal, ordinary things. And what I wanted to be able to do in this film was not only sort of personify or imbue black excellence and be unabashed about it in all of those types of things that we, you know, come to enjoy, especially on the Vineyard, but also having that relationship between these two guys and seeing that on screen and really being able to herald it. So it's important, you know, for me as a filmmaker to always have something that I'm passionate about and to feed my soul, because it's a lot of work. It's way more work than people realize. You're on set 14, 16 hours a day. You gotta love what you do. And if you don't love what you do, then you really shouldn't be doing it.
In the time that we have remaining, I want you to speak to the filmmakers, the film viewers, the creatives out there that are not only watch what you've done, but are watching and listening to you speak up here. What would you say to them that are attempting or hoping one day to be in a production like The Dutchman or to sit on a panel and discuss their art? How would you tell them to go from there to here? And whoever wants to go first, I'll let this be as it comes to you, chime in, but what is the advice you have to the young artist that says, I want to do what you do, give me the blueprint?
You want to go first? Go for it.
Well,
Way to volunteer.
thank you. I'm just get up here and
Like
go
you were
first.
itching for it, yeah.
You're getting it. Something I tell all artists, it doesn't matter what medium it is, but think less about what you can get out of what it is you're doing and think more about what you're contributing to your craft, to your art, because you're always going to get something out of it, but that's reflective of what you're trying to contribute. The legacy that you're trying to build, the lasting legacy that you want other people to learn from, and whatever you contribute goes into creating opportunities, massaging, biases for the next generation and the next generation. So in terms of building legacy, think about what it is you want to contribute, and to a point which some of my brothers who I counsel, I think one of them in here, hey Sam, what up brother? Now I'm gonna just call you out and thank you, because I have a collective circle, fantastic family, great circle of support that always constantly reminds me, like, what it is we're doing is incredibly difficult and hard. You should invite that. If you're looking for ease, you're looking for a way out that doesn't allow you to be great. Look for a way to manage the difficulties in your favor. Learn how to dance with it. Because what we do to create greatness means you're going to do something no one else has done, as my man Sam reminds me all the time. So you're going to foreign spaces where you're going to have to learn, you're going to have to fail up. Remember, just fail up. But when life gets difficult, that's when you smile, because you are tasked with things you're fully capable of handling. The only thing that gets difficult is when you forget that you are able to handle it. So never forget and never doubt your own capabilities. Invite the difficulties and invite your power.
Yes. Follow that. Yeah. Good luck.
You said go first.
I know.
Follow that.
I'm gonna start paying him for therapy one of these days. So I can't follow that, but what I'll say, practically speaking, just as a filmmaker, is for the aspiring filmmakers is to always be making something. Just always be filming. That is really the trick. And YouTube. Like, a lot of people don't realize how rich these guys are on YouTube. These content creators, they sort of get put into a box as content creators, but these guys are doing some really extraordinary things. And that, YouTube was not the thing that it is now when we were at NYU. It sort of was just becoming that thing. And having a platform like that to literally make something and then publish it, make it and then publish it, that is an extraordinary opportunity. And I mentor a lot of filmmakers. I have them on my sets regularly. I have them in the edit room with me to be able to come in and just see it firsthand. And I say, you're walking around with a motion picture camera in your pocket, your cell phone. That cell phone is a powerful, photographic tool that you can use to continue to make things. And like Aldis said, just not being afraid of failure, constantly failing until you get it right. That's really what we do, is trial and error, constant trial and error until we finally get it right. And you get to enjoy the final product, but there's a lot that goes into it behind it. So just always be making stuff. That's all I would say.
Always be making stuff. I mean, those are two fantastic answers. You got to bring us home.
Man, I can't do nothing with that. But I'll just say, as I was thinking about it, obviously as an actor, to those who are actors or artists in the audience, the thing that came up for me was just thinking about craft. I think a lot of times folks think about acting as like, putting on the clothes and putting on the hat and then just pretending to be somebody else. But there's a real craft behind it that I think if we pay attention to, it can really, that's what the magic is. I had a teacher one time who used to say that rehearsal is like the process of gathering information, and performance is the time where you get to reveal what you've learned, what you know. And that it's not a pop quiz. It's not just about being able to repeat it, but you take a bucket and you gather all these things about this person's life, about the world of this play. And then you hope, that the gods descend in that moment where you're in the scene and something surprises you. But you don't get to that surprise unless you take the time to dig and to invest and to take seriously what it is that we're called to do. And I think there's a real direct correlation between that and also the way that good actors live their lives. I think I've never met a good actor who's like stupid. I've never met a good actor who's not curious. I've never met a good actor who's not sensitive and vulnerable and open to the world. So I also would say to artists, like, think about the way that you live your life. Try to live a full life. Try to be interested in things other than just acting, because all of it will go in the bucket and all of it will give you gifts that you can't possibly anticipate.
Ladies and gentlemen, Andre Holland, Aldis Hodge, Andre Gaines, The Dutchman, Martha's Vineyard African American Film Festival. I'm Segun Oduolowu. Thank you so much for joining us.
We love you. Thank you so much. Thank you.